There's a strange kind of grief that comes with losing someone you never actually knew, someone you only saw in the dark, projected on a screen, living out 100 lives that somehow shaped your own. And as you get older, that grief starts to happen more often. The actors you grew up watching, the icons, the ones whose posters hung on your wall, whose lines you quoted with your friends, and whose faces marked chapters of your life, they begin to disappear. And Val Kilmer was one of those for me. I saw him first in Top Secret. He was goofy, he was charming, magnetic. Then came Willow, Top Gun, The Doors, Tombstone, Heat. And with every role, he felt like someone you couldn't quite pin down. He was larger than life and yet still somehow managed to be vulnerable. He was unpredictable, brilliant, flawed, everything a real movie star should be. And that's part of why this one stings, not just because we lost a great actor, but because we're losing an era. With the recent passing of Gene Hackman, David Lynch, Carl Weathers, and Shannon Doherty only in the past few months, it feels like we're losing the movie stars that raised us. There aren't many like them left, and today it's algorithms and franchises, and the movie star thing isn't really a thing. But back then, it was about presence, voice, soul, and love him or hate him, Val Kilmer had all of that in spades. So this isn't just a what happened to video, this is something else. A moment to pause, to remember what these performances meant to us. This is for Val, and for the heroes we grew up with who are starting to leave us behind. Val Edward Kilmer was born on December 31st, 1959 in Los Angeles, California. He grew up in the San Fernando Valley, the son of Gladys and Eugene Kilmer. His father was an aerospace equipment distributor. His mother, a spiritual and artistic woman, nurtured Val's creative spark early on. Tragedy struck young. His younger brother Wesley died at age 15 after an epileptic seizure in a jacuzzi. Val was only 17 at the time, and the loss shook him deeply. You could sense that weight in the depth of his later performances, a sorrow always simmering under the surface. After high school, Kilmer became the youngest student ever accepted into Juilliard's drama division. Even there, among the elite, Val was different. Not just talented, but intense, dedicated to the craft in a way that left a lasting impression. Kilmer's screen debut came in 1984's Top Secret, a parody film that showcased his comedic chops and natural charisma, but just 2 years later he was immortalised. As Iceman in Top Gun, he exuded an icy confidence that contrasted perfectly with Tom Cruise's hotshot, hot-headed maverick.
I don't like you because you're unsafe.
That's right.
Figured it out yet? What's that? Who's the best pilot?
Even with limited lines, Kilmer made Iceman unforgettable. But fame didn't seduce him the way it does so many. Kilmer wasn't after celebrity, he was really chasing after great roles. He was a serious actor who wanted serious work, often turning down blockbuster offers to follow his own unpredictable path. Throughout the late 80s and 90s, Kilmer disappeared into roles like few others. He was fearless. In The Doors, he didn't just play Jim Morrison, he became him, singing all the vocals and immersing himself so deeply that even the surviving band members were unnerved. In Tombstone, his Doc Holliday was both haunted and haunting, ill, sardonic, loyal, and utterly captivating. That performance alone etched his name into cinema history.
You retired too?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
He followed with Batman Forever, Heat, The Ghost in the Darkness, and The Saint. Every time a new mask, a new voice, a raw energy. He didn't always choose crowd pleasers, but he always made them interesting. Off-screen, Kilmer was far more reserved than many knew. He married actress Joan Whalley in 1988 after meeting her on the set of Willow. They had 2 children together, Mercedes and Jack, before divorcing in 1996. Despite the split, Kilmer remained a devoted father. His children were the light of his life, and in later years he often spoke of how fatherhood changed him. You could see it in his artwork, his poetry, and especially in the documentary Val, where both Jack and Mercedes helped tell his story. A deeply spiritual man, Kilmer was a lifelong Christian Scientist. His beliefs were often misunderstood, especially as he began quietly battling throat cancer in 2014. For a long time he refused aggressive treatments, believing healing would come through faith. Eventually he underwent surgeries and chemotherapy, but the damage to his voice was irreversible. He documented his life with hours of home video footage that became Val, one of the most revealing actor documentaries ever made. It was raw, vulnerable, and beautiful. And in 2022, he returned for one last moment in the sun. Top Gun Maverick gave him a chance to revisit Iceman in a quiet, powerful scene that brought audiences to tears.
That's why I fought for you. That's why you're still here.
In the years that followed, Kilmer remained mostly out of the spotlight, his health continued to decline, and on April 2nd, 2025, Val Kilmer passed away due to complications from pneumonia. A tragic end following years of physical struggle. He was 65 years old. The pneumonia came suddenly, but his body had been weakened for a long time. It wasn't the cancer that claimed him in the end, but the toll it took left his immune system completely vulnerable. He died peacefully, surrounded by family. Following the passing of Val Kilmer, both director Michael Mann and actor Josh Brolin shared heartfelt tributes. Michael Mann, who directed Kilmer in Heat, expressed his admiration. While working with Val on Heat, I always marvelled at the range, the brilliant variability within the powerful current of Val's possessing and expressing character. After so many years of Val battling disease and maintaining his spirit, this is tremendously sad news. Josh Brolin reflected on Kilmer's unique qualities. See you, pal. I'm going to miss you. You were a smart, challenging, brave, uber-creative firecracker. There's not a lot left of those. I hope to see you up there in the heavens when I eventually get there. Until then, amazing memories, lovely thoughts. Val Kilmer passed away on April 2nd, 2025 at the age of 65. After years of battling throat cancer, it was pneumonia that ultimately took him. His body weakened from the long fight he'd already endured. He didn't go out in scandal or controversy. He went out quietly, with dignity, surrounded by those who loved him. And in a way that makes it all the more bittersweet, because for all the fire he brought to the screen, for all the intensity and brilliance he gave us, his final years were marked by silence and struggle. But that doesn't diminish the legacy he leaves behind. If anything, it deepens it. It reminds us just how much these artists gave of themselves and how much of themselves we carry with us long after they're gone. So here's to Val, and here's to the movie stars we grew up with. Flawed, larger than life, unforgettable. They meant something, and they still do. As ever, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.